Welcome to Chalk Talk, Danville Public Schools weekly news magazine. I'm Diane Locker, your host. It's that time of year, end of the year, time to be thinking about college, time to be thinking about those awful exams, all of those things. But it's also the time of year that we start looking at who's the salutatorian, who's a valedictorian at each of our high schools. And today we're at GW High School, and I'm starting off the show talking to the 2016 salutatorian for the graduating class, and Asher.
Yes.
Asher Kaplan?
Mm-hmm.
Asher Kaplan. GPA, what is your GPA? Just roughly?
I don't know. It's like close to a 4.6 probably, weighted, so.
4.6, that's higher than anything I ever got when I was in school. Now, you said weighted. Now, I think the explanation for weighted is if you take advanced placement classes, your A is more than a 4 point.
So if you take regular classes, your weighting is a 4.0. If you take advanced, it's a 4.5, and if you take AP, it's going to be a 5.0.
Okay, so that's how you're like above what in my day was 4 point was about as high as you could go. Okay, now let's go back to your school career. Your favorite teachers. Well, let's start off with elementary.
My favorite teachers?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to pick back then who my favorite teachers were.
What sticks out in your mind then about elementary? And it's usually a teacher when it.
I don't know. I remember one teacher that I had. Her name was Miss Hawkins, and she was my second grade teacher.
Local teacher?
Yes, I attended Sacred Heart for elementary school.
Mrs. Harker.
Hawkins.
Hawkins. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess like when I think back, I think of her class. I don't know why. I guess she was just a really nice teacher. She really just made learning fun for me.
She made you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's usually the answer I get. Okay, let's move up to middle school.
My favorite teacher in middle school was my 7th and 8th grade English teacher at Bonner, Mr. Solomon.
Why?
His class was just a different class. See, I was in the AG program, so you didn't really have to follow the like normal curriculum, and I remember like his class would be like almost like philosophical and kind of challenging. Like I remember there was one time in class he was teaching us to write persuasive essays, which is a requirement or one of the requirements for the 8th grade writing SOL. And to do it, he would like give a controversial topic, and he'd have the class. He would group something
that you were more interested in than regular things you
so
hear about in school.
It would be pretty like a controversial topic.
Something current.
I remember to practice it, he had us sit together and do an outline, and he would have people raise their hand whether they were for or against this topic. I remember he put people with differing views in the same groups to write an outline for a persuasive paper.
Differing views.
Okay. So if you're in a group, you would have to either change your mind, or you would have to change the other person's mind, or you would have to write about something and persuade someone against what you believe.
But the bottom line was
it was just,
you knew that topic when you were through.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. High school, right here.
High school.
Right here at GW.
I think my favorite high school teacher would be Miss McGregor, my 11th grade English teacher.
For? Why?
I just think her class generally at GW is considered to be one of the hardest classes, and I think that she really challenges her students in ways that not a lot of teachers do.
Do you realize in the two teachers, you did not in elementary, but you're both teachers that use for middle school and high school, the thing that you notice most is they're challenging. And most people out there think we want things to be easy. Not true. I think most of you want things to be challenging. Now, are you going to be part of Graduate of Distinction this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Graduate of Distinction, I think it's a nice difference here. Takes that, I think you got to have at least a 3.5 to be part of that. But there's a whole list of other things they want too that you have to do. You have to do community service, all of those things. It's not just your GPA. And you've got that coming up next week, don't you? Now, does that involve a scholarship? For some.
I think for some.
For depending on, okay. Now, we've talked about your teachers and why. Who or what or who is your most influential person outside of school? Who's had an impact on you let's say in your school career, but it's not a part of the school?
I guess I would just say like my parents,
Okay.
because they really just have supported me. Like I can think of there's just been like some classes that I've taken that are like you really want to take that class, and like they've almost like told me like, ooh, do you really want to challenge yourself? But like they've let me do it, and like I guess I've kind of like given them a scare, because like
How?
There's just been like some times where like I would take classes and they're like, there's no way that you should do that, or like we're worried that it'll challenge you too much, but like they've supported me in pretty much everything that I do.
They've also let you make your own decisions.
Exactly.
And then support that decision.
Exactly.
That's very important. Now, I know you're part of the ACE team.
Yes.
Because we did a show on that, and that's kind of like a game show type thing, but it's all in knowledge. What other activities have you been involved in school?
Let's see. Well, currently this year, I'm in the Multicultural Literature Club, which is like it's like a club where we get monthly books, or maybe sometimes like books we read for 2 months, and then we meet and discuss those books, and they're usually about a different culture. Like sometimes we've read like Russian novels, or like novels from like the Middle East or South American novels. So like it really gives like a reflection of like different cultures that you don't really get in school.
I've noticed over the years that people that are very involved in their academics are also involved in different activities. What do those activities do for you? Because I know they're above and beyond all of those hard courses we've talked about that you're taking. What does that do for you? Why do you get involved?
I guess just because something interests me. Like, I feel like if something interests you, that you should just try those things and really like try and get a good experience.
See if they really interest you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like there have been some things that I've done where I've had some clubs and I haven't really enjoyed it, so I've stopped. I've just kind of like been trying to explore different interests, I guess, is what I'm
Now,
saying.
talking about interest, your college is coming up, graduation's coming up, college is coming up. What do you want to do? What is it that you want to go to school for?
I don't know. I'm not really sure, but one thing that I've really liked ever since I was little was I've always been a huge fan of movies. Just like I've just absolutely loved like movies ever since I was little.
To make them, to be in them, or to watch them?
I just kind of like want to work, I guess, in the like film industry, maybe with like production. So I'm thinking of going to UVA and studying media studies, which is kind of like their like film, like advertising, marketing kind of major, and then like economics. So like I feel like that would be like really good. And then my hopes is to someday work in the film industry and get to work with all those films.
That's kind of wild. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it's pretty different.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. I can do that. Okay. You're successful. You're successful in school. Why do you think that's true? What is it that you've done that you think has helped you become the salutatorian this year? Other than grade point average, let's talk. What is it about you in those studies? Is it that trying different things, looking at different things?
Yeah, I guess it's more me like trying to be an individual, I guess. Like I don't like to take maybe like the classes that are popular, or I don't really like to limit myself. I just kind of like to just kind of do what I want to do, I guess. I like to take the classes that I want to take that other people may not want to take.
But that sounds to me like what you're saying is that you're very independent about what you do.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm independent. I guess I would say that my interests don't really align with I guess other people's.
Like following the
Exactly.
following the trends.
Yeah, I don't like to follow the trends. I just kind of like to.
That's
to
kind of like
explore.
bucking the trends. Okay, all right. What advice? Got an incoming freshman coming into GW. What would your advice be to that person?
I would just tell them to not really limit themselves. Just explore their opportunities here. There's so many classes here at GW to take, and I'm sure that something will align with their interests.
Now you're going to be speaking to the graduating class.
Yes.
What's your message? You don't have to tell me exactly what you're going to say because it's got to be a surprise. But what is your message?
I guess my message is going to be like, don't let other people's expectations like slow you down or limit you.
Cool. That's kind of grown up and adult thinking. Yeah, okay, all right. 5 or 10 years from now, where are you going to be? Hollywood.
I don't know.
No.
Know.
Where do you see yourself in let's say 5 years?
5 years? I don't really know. I just kind of...
Drifting.
I'll see.
You'll see.
Exactly.
You'll see. That's wonderful. You're very impressive. Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
And I've enjoyed the 2 shows we've done.
Thank you.
Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a short break, but be sure to stay with us because after the break we're going to meet the valedictorian of the 2016 graduating class here at George Washington High School.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra Reddy and I'm the Beta Club president here at Galileo Magnet High School. Let me tell you about Beta Club. Beta Club is a national academic club that focuses on community service. And in fact, our motto is let us lead by serving others. So every month, the Beta Club here at Galileo completes a service project for our community and also for our school. And then in February, we travel to the state convention where we compete with other schools in the areas of English, science, social studies, talent competitions, and it's a really awesome experience. But I also have the honor of being the Virginia State Beta Club president, an election that I won back in February at the convention. So this means that I have to travel to at least 2 other state conventions this year. There's North Carolina, South Carolina, all across the country that I am able to travel to. So I'm very blessed to be the state president, and I'm excited for what the year holds and making Galileo proud and making Virginia Beta proud.
Hello, my name is J.D. Edmonds, and this is my wife,
Janine Edmonds.
I am the Barnum Booster President, and I'm encouraging all you parents to get involved with your child's education, get involved with the community, and show your support for your kids' school.
Continue to be that bridge between the community, school, and family.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're at George Washington High School talking to the 2016 Salutatorian and Valedictorian of the graduating class. You met the Salutatorian, Ashley Kaplan, in the first half of the show, and I have Stephen Black with me right now, who is our Valedictorian this year. And Stephen, give me that GPA.
I believe it's just over a 4.6, right around the 4.6 range.
4.6, and we talked in the first half of the show, back in my day, a 4 was about as high as you could go, but you've taken advanced classes and things like that that give you those extra points beyond that 4 point.
Yes, ma'am.
You heard me talking to Asher in the first half of the show, and you know I started off asking him about favorite teachers, and I'm going to do the same thing with you. Elementary school, your favorite teacher.
I'd say I probably have 2 favorite teachers from elementary school. There's one, Mr. Mann. He was my art teacher all throughout elementary school, and he was just he was a fun teacher. We would do like art projects that we enjoyed doing, and while we would do it, he would let us listen, he'd play music for us or show movies, and he was just a fun teacher.
Okay,
And also,
Mr. Mann.
Mr. Mann, yes ma'am.
And who else?
And Miss Kitzmiller, she taught me Algebra 1 and geometry in elementary school. She was the one who just helped me get accelerated with math and just taught me my math.
Now, you said you liked him because he was fun.
Yes, ma'am.
What was it about I'm gonna say math teacher, what was it about her that you liked or that you remember?
She was a little bit strict, but she was just a really good teacher. She taught everything well. She got most people interested in math. But
I think it's interesting that no matter who I'm talking to, when I'm talking to students, it's either like with Asher this morning, every teacher that he mentioned, it was because they challenged him. And you're saying basically the same thing. She was strict.
Yeah.
And, it's not like you don't hear kids running around saying, I want a strict teacher, but they really do like them. They like
do.
them that way. Middle school.
Middle school, there was Dr. Ethington. When I was in middle school taking math at Averett, he taught me 3 semesters of calculus. And
Hold on.
He was.
That's middle school? And
Yes, I was in middle school. I went to Averett to take math classes when I was in middle school.
Are you some kind of math whiz or something?
A little bit.
Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Yes, you are. Yes. So in your middle school years, you were already taking some of the advanced classes at Averett. Now, did you take those during the school day, or
Yes,
or
ma'am.
as
I'd
part
go
of your school day?
As part of my school day, I would go to Averett to take math classes.
Okay. And where were you enrolled for middle school?
Sacred Heart School.
At Sacred Heart. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did for all of your middle school years, you did that?
No. I first went to DCC for a year, and then I started attending Averett.
Okay. So your whole middle school career was spent at either DCC or Averett.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. High school,
High school,
here at GW.
Mr. Dorman, he's a history teacher here. He really, he knows his content in history, which most teachers do, but he's also just really supportive of the students. Like, he helped me like meet with college, like admissions people at mostly at Washington Lee University, but he helped me just talk through colleges and help decide which college I wanted to go to, and just helped me get through the admissions process.
And that's something to do to also. I think a lot of kids, when they get into, when did you start? I mean, you have to start so early deciding and applying and trying to decide what you want to do. It's a long process.
It really is.
Outside of school, we've talked about your influential teachers. Outside of school, who do you think has had the most influence on your school career and on you?
Definitely my parents have had the most influence, which is, I guess, more or less the generic response. Most people say their parents.
But I think it's neat.
Yeah. Other than that, my math ace coach, Mr. Fawn, he's been just really, really good about helping me get motivated, not just to do what's necessary to like get A's, but to go beyond that and just enjoy learning and enjoy
Once
just
again,
excelling.
it's that concept of being strict
Just
and
being
challenge.
better.
Now, you
He's
called him a
also-
math coach.
Yes. For
What does
our
that
ace
mean?
team.
I'm not.
For like our ace team, he's like our team coach. He like runs practices and just helps us out.
Okay, so going back to the ACE team that you're part of, if I remember, each subject area had a coach.
Yes, ma'am.
And so your specialty in the ACE team, and for the audience out there, the ACE team is like
Like Jeopardy almost.
a Jeopardy, yes, but it's all based on knowledge. But your particular area was math, wasn't it?
Yes, mine was math.
Okay, all right. Now, ACE team, what other activities have you been involved in?
This year I founded a club. We call it the Kiva Club. And
KEVA?
KIVA.
Uh-huh.
And what we do is we raise money to like loan to people in developing countries interest-free, because like in small villages, either they have no access to loans whatsoever, or if they do, the interest rates are just insane and they go bankrupt. So we help provide them loans like that they can afford to pay back and just become self-sufficient.
Back up a little bit. You formed this club. Is this a club right here in GW, or is it broader than that?
Like this is more or less like a local chapter of it that I formed with a friend, and we raise money.
And how? How do you raise money?
Fundraising. Our main fundraiser for this year was a raffle, which we raised almost $600 from the raffle. And we've got a couple sponsorships from local companies like The Brick. And we're going to put it into the Kiva website. It's an actual organization founded by 2 Stanford alumni.
So let's say you raised $600 this year. That $600 you don't directly lend out. That goes to the Kiva organization that lends out.
Yes, but we get to pick who we lend it to. They're just kind
Oh.
of like the mediator to.
How do you do that?
Like their website, it looks more or less like an online store. It's just different people, their stories, like why they need money, like what they
But
want.
you
what
get
they'll
to
do for the
choose
money,
what
and we
happens,
pick,
yeah.
And they'll take care of like everything else.
So that's what. Any other activities you've been involved in? That's a pretty important one.
Yes, I'm in several clubs at school, like the math club, the civics club, Gentlemen by Choice.
Gentlemen by Choice is a wonderful organization.
Yes, it really is.
We've done a show on that this year too. What do you get? Because you've got to be busy. The kind of courses that you're taking and everything. What do you get from these activities, and why do you get involved in them beyond the fact that college applications like that type of
Yeah,
stuff?
that's
But
one of-
what has it done for you as an individual?
Like The community service clubs I've done, I've really liked giving back to the community. So I joined the civics club, Gentlemen by Choice, and founded my own club just to give back to different people in different ways. I joined the math club because I enjoy math, and Mr. Fawn is in charge of that club, so that's always nice. And my interests are in business and economics, so with a friend of mine, we founded a company this year, and that's taken up a lot of our time too.
Company that does what?
We do social media marketing for more or less like small companies, but any type of company. We also are starting to help companies get the startup funds necessary so we can help them receive virtually any amount of money that they need to start up their company.
Any amount of money they need, we need to talk. You've obviously been successful.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could look back on your school career so far and change something, what would you change? Or would you change anything?
I don't think I would change anything. I've really enjoyed my 4 years at George Washington. I've got to try so many new things, got to accomplish so many great things, and meet a lot of wonderful people who I hope to stay in contact with for the rest of my life.
Okay, so you wouldn't change anything. If you met an incoming freshman tomorrow and you were going to give them some advice about their high school participation, their high school career, what would you tell them?
I think they should try new things. Like, a lot of people go into high school, they only want to play like one sport or like join one club, but their first or second year at GW, they should try several things, and if they don't like it, they can always just quit it, but usually you'll find something you really enjoy that you never knew you would like.
Also, I think that high school is that one time that you can experiment with different things. You're not tied down to anything.
Yes.
When you get to college, you got to start thinking about the end
Like
goal.
your future and stuff.
Yes, and it's not, you don't have that flexibility to say I like it or I don't like it like you do in high school. What are your goals? Let's say for college.
For college, I haven't quite decided what college I'm going to. I'm looking between 3 schools mostly, but I plan on majoring in either math and econ or math and business, and eventually either get a career in business management or investment banking.
Everything that you said in the club that you started and in the business you were talking about, you're already leaning towards the investment banking and business end of things.
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
you're already heading down that track.
Yes.
5 years from now, where are you going to be?
Hopefully in grad school somewhere, but after that, get a career in one of the 2 paths.
10 years from now, you'll be in one of those 2 paths,
Hopefully.
earning whole lots of money.
That would be nice.
Okay. Now, you're going to be speaking to the students for the graduating class. What's your
Yes,
message?
I want people to realize that everyone there on that day has accomplished something great, and they just have a bright future ahead of them that they can just take control of.
Why do you think you've been successful in school?
Probably the biggest reason was my parents. Like, without the motivation and the support that I've received from my parents, I really don't know if I would be here today, but there's a lot of reasons.
You're very impressive, and congratulations, and you've got a great future ahead of you. And I want to thank you for spending time with me. This is the second time we've been together this year, or maybe the third time if you were in the Gentlemen by Choice. So you're very impressive.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for being with us this week, and I want to join you join me, in congratulating these 2 young men, and also congratulating all of the graduates of Danville Public Schools high schools for 2016. Be sure to come back next week and find out what's going on in Danville Public Schools.